Another day, another batch of Volleyball Nations League action. We've got 6 men's matches on the menu today. Brazil vs China, Canada vs USA, Ukraine vs Japan, Argentina vs Iran, Bulgaria vs Slovenia, and the Netherlands vs Cuba. No need for a long intro, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's dive right in. We kick things off with Brazil vs China, played in Chicago. After a cozy first week at home, China got a taste of what it's like to play top-level volleyball away from home. No mercy here. And looking at their upcoming schedule, it's safe to say they're in for a rough ride. This time, they were up against Brazil. The South Americans kept full control through the first 2 sets and only let China lead by the time the third rolled around. It looked like we were heading into a fourth, but Brazil closed out the set and the match with a classic make-it-hurt finish. Once again, Alan Souza came out as the top scorer with 17 points. Brazil's opposite is definitely finding his rhythm, and you can see the full stats right in front of you. Next up, North American Derby. I was hoping for at least 4 sets between Canada and the USA, and honestly, it's good to see that this season, Team USA's bench guys are stepping up big time compared to last year. They're still in the hunt for the playoffs, and that's saying a lot. Sure, last season was all about Olympic qualification, so teams had different priorities. But what matters now is today's match, and it delivered. It was tight, it was intense, but still wrapped up in 3 sets, and the reason? Gabi Garcia Hernandez. This might have been his best performance for Team USA so far. The former Puerto Rican was just rock solid, especially in crunch time. He led the charge with 19 points and was clearly the man of the match. You'll find the rest of the numbers in the stat sheet on screen. Our third match, Japan vs Ukraine. These guys are the true marathoners of this VNL week, a third match in 3 days. Ukraine had slightly less rest, but since their previous match wasn't too demanding, the teams were pretty evenly matched in terms of energy. Coach Thiele went with the same outside hitter duo that got the job done against France, and early on it worked. Japan grabbed the opening set, but Ukraine adapted fast. They shifted gears and took control of the game from the second set onward, keeping the momentum and building toward another win. Thiele then went full French mode. He started shuffling not just his outsides, but players in every position. And to be fair, it almost worked again. Japan pushed it to a tie-break, but this time Ukraine didn't waste their chances. They stayed focused and closed it out. Standout player? No question, Ilya Kovalev. Ukraine's outside hitter dropped 21 points and ended up the game's top scorer. Match result and full stats? Already on your screen. And while everyone's been buzzing about Ukraine's rise, Iran is quietly putting together a very solid week of their own. After taking down Serbia, they followed it up by beating a tough Argentinian squad. Roberto Piazza seems to have full control of the team, both on the court and off it. This Iran side doesn't look anything like the one from last season. The rotation is working better than ever. The bench guys are ready to step in at any moment, and more importantly, they're making the most of their chances. Most of Iran's subs made a real impact, and that's exactly what pushed them to another win, one that puts them right on the doorstep of the playoff zone. Argentina, meanwhile, kept searching for the right outside hitter to pair with Polonsky, and eventually found him in Armoa. But those shaky moments at the end of sets and some questionable errors cost them dearly. Iran stayed ice-cold under pressure and closed things out like pros. Top scorer of the match was Argentina's opposite Pablo Kukartsev with 18 points. Full match results and stats are right there on screen. Now let's move to Bulgaria vs Slovenia, a serious test for Gian Lorenzo Blengini's squad in front of packed stands on home turf. This game would answer one question. Was that win over Japan just a fluke? Well, let's just say there were some clear patterns. Bulgaria started pretty much every set on fire, building solid leads, but Slovenia always found a way to claw their way back and sometimes even take control. The first set ended with a serving run by Slovenian setter Planinšić, where the home team completely stalled in one rotation and just handed over the finish. Second set, not as dramatic, though again Bulgaria gave up their early edge. But this time Alex Nikolov decided to take matters into his own hands, dropping 8 points in the set and carrying his team to the win. The switch to Dimitrov as opposite added a lot, more stability in attack and much needed height on the block, which Antov had been lacking a bit. That shift helped Bulgaria open up a massive +9 lead in set 3. Slovenia coach Fabio Soli practically subbed out the entire lineup, and believe it or not, they nearly pulled off the comeback, but almost doesn't count. 2-1 Bulgaria. The fourth set was the only one that stayed close all the way through. Midway through the set, Bulgaria grabbed a slight lead and held it till the end, thanks to a monster block, especially in position 4. The Nikolov brothers combined for 26 points. Alex alone put up 19 and was the top scorer of the match. Everyone else's numbers, you know where to find them on your screen. And finally, the Cubans. As per their beloved tradition this week, they took the first set to warm up, and then switched to real volleyball mode, taking the next 3 sets against the Netherlands. The Dutch were this close to forcing a tiebreak, but 4 set points slipped right through their fingers. That's Cuba's 3rd win in a row. Marlon Yant keeps stacking points and climbing the top scorer leaderboard. The Cuban outside hitter finished with 21 points today. Final match stats are already live. Unfortunately, the match recordings are getting posted later and later each day, so honestly it's hard to stay motivated to put out full videos. Based on your comments, it seems you prefer breakdowns with footage, but the engagement just doesn't match that when the matches aren't fresh. I'll try to keep it going this week, but we'll see what happens with week 3. As always, this was Nick. Love what you do and you're gonna crush it. See you soon. Bye!